Welcome to Season 4 of the Knack for Business podcast.
Question to the audience. Why does your CRM feel like a cold, complicated database instead of a tool that actually helps you build stronger relationships and grow your business? Our guest tackles this head on. He'll unpack how to turn a CRM from a tech burden to a human relationship driven growth engine that feels natural to use and actually supports how you do business. If that hits a nerve for you, stick around and let's listen to Brandon Drake from the Healthy Data Guy. He is the dedicated CRM consultant with a passion for crafting personalized CRM solutions. He thrives on understanding your business inside and out, your challenges, your goals, and your visions for success. He brings a relationship-focused approach to CRM, ensuring your systems become a true asset rather than just a tool. With Brandon, expect smoother operations, boosted efficiency, and accelerated growth, all delivered with a genuine personal touch. Brandon's mission is simple: to maximize your CRM's potential. Brandon's mission is simple: to maximize your CRM's potential and drive your business forward in the digital age. Brandon, absolute pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have a favorite tagline or a favorite quote you want to share with us?
Yeah, the quote that I always use all the time is using CRMs to strengthen human connection in the digital age because so many people are using CRMs in a very transactional, cold type of way. And, the process that I implement for my clients is using it in a way that's building relationships, creating opportunities, because with strong relationships, creates more opportunities, and more opportunities contributes to your revenue generation down the line. And that's my favorite way of creating good connections. So I'm having a combination of CRM technology and relationship building to push your business forward.
So the system is the technology. They're going, hey, this is a really handy electronic Rolodex, and it can nudge me and remind me, or is it the people that are in play with it? What drew you to that space?
But drew me to that space actually it was on accident. So, I have a background in computer information systems and business systems analysis, basically database design and designing systems for people or whatnot based on getting to know them. And used to work for a CRM company. I was a data migration specialist and I got really burnt out in technology with that job. I was working 10 to 12 hours a day consistently for 6 months straight. And I just wanted a general good balance. And at that time, I really hated technology. I didn't want to do it anymore. Technology was not fun to me anymore. And I figured, you know what? I'm not going to do this again. And here I am. I'm a CRM consultant in the technology space. But it took me having to quit my job to find my way back to technology. So I quit my corporate job and it was nice to know that they still wanted me. They dangled and carrot in front of me. They said, hey, we'll give you more money and you can work from home. And I said, yeah, that's nice, but I don't want to do that anymore. So I quit my job and I saved my money up. I went to culinary school. I went to functional nutrition school. That's why I'm healthy data guy, because my background is in data, but also too my background in education also is in culinary arts and functional nutrition. So after going through that schooling, I started my own business as a therapeutic personal chef and a functional nutritionist. And basically I was helping people with metabolic health issues. I was either cooking for them, meal planning for them, or coaching them, or all the above, depending on their needs. And I really enjoyed it because that piece of my business or that piece of my personality really got in tune with the relationship drive of my business, because that was something that was missing in the technology world, at least in my experience. And so it was all about building relationships, getting to know people, understanding their challenges, and building a health solution that was going to be right for them. And I enjoyed that process. And that's when I also discovered the power of networking. I realized I enjoyed networking, and it was a lot different than in the corporate space because you only sometimes network with people because you needed something from them. Like,
Yep.
being friends with the department. Like, we're all in silos, but we get nice to you because we need something from you. I enjoyed networking as a way of like two different people getting to know each other. And as we developed our relationship, we could refer each other down the line. And I enjoyed that process. So that opened up a whole new world. Behind the scenes, being in the health space, I was always using technology behind the scenes. So I never stopped using a CRM. So I was always using a CRM to keep track of all my good contacts, whether it's a prospect, customer, or networking partner. And because I was very good at keeping track of this and creating strong connections, one of my really good networking partners who I've networked with, he was a good referral partner of mine. He gave me a call one day, actually in Canada, gave me a call one day and he said, hey, I like the way you use your CRM. Can you help me with my CRM? And we could hire you as a consultant and you could train our team and build custom additions to our CRM because I really do like how you use it. And I said, well, I mean, yeah, I know how to use CRMs because I used to work for a CRM company. I have a tech background. But in my mind, I wanted to say, hell no, I don't want to do that work anymore. Like, this is why quit my job to be in the health space. But because he was a really good network of mine, I told him, look, because I know you very well and we've developed a good rapport, I'll do 1 month's worth of work with you. If it was anybody else, I would have said no. But because I know, like, and trust you, and we've networked so well, like, I'll do a month's worth of work with you. He totally understood that. And so he was responsible for me renewing my love for technology. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I was just doing it as a favor to him, and to his team. And after working with him my first couple sessions, I realized, wow, I could work in technology in a totally different way than I used to work in the way that I used to work in the corporate space. In the corporate space, it was very transactional, very cold. And basically, I had to meet my numbers, my quota numbers every week and every month. So therefore, I was treating my clients like numbers. But with my first client, I got to like actually have a relationship with him, get to know him and his team, and build something that's right for him and train him based on truly getting to know their needs. And I actually ended up enjoying it. And because I enjoyed it, I actually worked more than a month with him. It actually being 3.5 months. After 3.5 months, I officially got my job done with him. I trained him and his team where they no longer needed me anymore, which is great because I love showing people how to fish for themselves so they can be self-sufficient and do it on their own. And that's what I did with his team. And so after I did a good job for him, I didn't think anything of it. I said, "Great, I'm glad you're done with me. We'll go back to the health space." And he started referring me business in his network for more CRM work. So he started referring me business, and I didn't ask for that. I took on the work, liked it because I was doing it in a way that aligned with my values, which is relationship driven. And I got so busy because I was doing 3 things at one time. I was a CRM consultant, I was a personal chef, and I was a functional nutrition coach. And I said, "You know what? I can't do all these things. I'm actually recreating that unhealthy work-life balance of working 10 to 12 hours again. I have to choose one." And to my surprise, I chose being a CRM consultant. And I realized after going through being a CRM consultant, I've been a straight CRM consultant for the past 4.5 years, but I've never stopped using CRMs. I started using CRMs in 2015, so it's almost 10 years.
Wow.
The thing that I liked about what I was doing is it actually reminded me of the health space, because in the health space, it was all about creating a good relationship with your client, understanding their goals and challenges, and building something that's tailored for them so they could reach their health goals. And I realized in the technology space, I was doing the same thing except a different end product. It was basically all about getting to know my client, understanding their challenges, and building a personalized CRM solution that allows them to reach their goals for the health of their business. So I realized there was similarities. It took me having to go through that journey to realize, oh, this is the way I like working, irrespective of what skill set I'm using. The relationship part is really important to me, and getting to know my clients and building something that's tailored for them. Because to me, the best technology or health solution is when you take the time to listen to your clients so you could build something that's going to be relevant and applicable to them so they could grow and thrive.
So if I understood you correctly, then it's more than just hi, name, email, address, phone number,
Correct.
and product sold. You're going to actually the colder part is collecting the data points, but the data points you're going to focus on then would be the ones that are going to be the pain points for your client. In other words, when are they likely going to need something renewed, restocked, or ask about this question because this might you might have a solution for them. Let's say it's puppy chow and they have a puppy, and they don't like going out to the store, right? So we drop ship, right? So it's having, but knowing that is that what you're saying? It's more than just collecting a box of information. That information has to have a relevance, and it's the cart before the horse scenario of what you were originally experiencing, and now you're putting the horse before the cart, where you're getting the needs of the person, and you build your database from that.
Yeah, it's collecting the right data and asking the right questions to collect that data. So, like, here's the thing: I have thousands of people in my CRM database, but I ask those relevant questions and I store those questions so that I could research better answers for those questions, which results in solutions. So, it all starts with that relationship and with asking the right questions and being very consultative in my approach. Because when it comes down to it, like, I really want my clients to grow and succeed and thrive and streamline their operations using a CRM, because when you're able to streamline your operations, be more efficient with your time, it actually frees up more time for you to focus on other parts of your business that you're really good at. Whether it's actually the one thing that I really like about CRMs or allow automate or semi-automate things while also making sure that human interaction is not swept under the rug. And the thing is, like, I like automating or semi-automating some things because now it frees up that business owner or that business to have more engagement time with their business contacts. More engagement is like actually more human interaction. And here's the thing, like because you have more human interaction, that alone and your personality that you bring to the table and the engagement that you have is going to differentiate yourself from other people that are doing the same thing as you. That is the one thing that I really enjoy because I enjoy technology purely for the fact that I get to engage with more people on a human level because that's gonna set me apart from everybody else. There could be thousands of CRM consultants like me, but I have processes in place to implement and systemize certain things so I have more time for human engagement. That's gonna set me apart from everybody else. And I also want my clients to experience that as well because that's gonna set them apart from everybody else as well.
So, question begs, what are business owners not getting in their mindset to make this thing work? What are the traps they're falling into?
The traps they're following into are the common traps that they fall into are when they start growing and their contact list gets bigger and bigger, meaning it could be prospects, it could be customers, it could be referral partners or business partners. The trap that they fall into is they're missing out on opportunities and they don't have a CRM. Because they're missing out on opportunities, they don't have a system in place. Maybe they're using a spreadsheet, maybe they're using a notebook or whatnot. You're not going to remember everybody that comes into your circle, into your network. You're not going to remember all your prospects and following up with them. So therefore, you're missing out on opportunities. And this also doesn't apply to your prospects. It also applies to your networking partners who could be good referral partners down the line. If you forget to follow up with you, they're going to forget who you are and what you do. Therefore, you're going to miss out on a referral. And that's another opportunity. So that's mainly one of the main common traps is people don't have a system in place. So yeah. And if you don't have a system in place, you're set up for failure or being able to grow efficiently and scale. And one of the things I read in a book, I think it was about Atomic Habits. I forgot the guy's name, James Clear. He says, "You don't rise to the level of your goals; you fall to the level of your systems."
So do
So
you
I'll be even
find
bolder. You bought it. Somebody said you needed it. You implemented it. You turned it on. You even hired somebody to put 100 names in. Now what? How do you
You have to
build the
develop.
best
You have to develop a
aftermarket music?
strategy.
But
You have
okay.
to ask questions, determine what their strategy is in terms of how they want to reach out to all their business contacts. Also, too, as well, before that even happens, only take on businesses, service-based businesses, whether it's a solopreneur, small, medium-sized businesses that already understand the importance of relationship building. If they don't understand it, I'm not going to go out of my way to change their mind. That means they're transactional. I don't want to deal with them because I've dealt in transactional environment in the workspace when I used to work in corporate. So I could identify those people that are very transactional. It's not going to be a good fit. I could refer them out to somebody else that's just purely transactional. So that's what it really comes down to. Like one, they have to be relationship driven. Two, they have to be collaborative because I need to have a collaborative partnership with them to ask them a lot of questions so I could build something that's right for them.
so how often do you go back and revisit? Say you set up a database and you're kind of moving along and all of a sudden you start adding new products or you add another storefront if you have a physical space or it goes into franchise mode, right? All of a sudden you're going, hang on, what I was doing yesterday is not the same as today because now I have to track other metrics, right? Because at the end of the day, it's you're tracking things and being responsive to those things. How often do you review it?
How often do you review it? Every time there's a new offer, every time there's new growth, you definitely review it. That I either have trained you appropriately when you know when to review it, and then you'll know that you need to rehire me because I work with people on an as needed basis on my clients because the goal for me is to set them up on the strong foundation and to train them so they could do it on their own. And then because I've trained them, they'll know when they start growing, when they add new offers, maybe they want to have new features, they want to create an online community, maybe they want to create online digital courses, maybe they want to create landing pages for new products or whatnot. Well, if they don't know how to do that, that's when they come to me or use a customer service for the CRM company to help them. A lot of times they come to me because they develop a good rapport with me. And when any of the parts of those business change in terms of any type of growth, that's where you come to me and we have a strategy session and for- I ask a lot of questions to determine what those things are that you need, what are your new pain points, and then I come up with a estimation and tell you, hey, this is how many hours it's going to take. Do you want to work together? I could do this, and we just go from there. So it's usually like growth, adding new products and or services, adding new features to improve the client experience or whatnot. Those are usually like some of tail signs to know that they need to upgrade or update their existing CRM system because it's always evolving. Businesses are always evolving and changing. New offers are coming, new products are coming, new employees are being added and stuff like that. So you have to adapt accordingly. So yeah.
So, what platforms? I assume there's different CRMs at different price points for different markets. What CRMs do you find are the best fit for most people?
Yeah. So it's not really CRM is very unique and tailored. So it's not for most people. I can't just throw a blanket on everybody and be like, hey, you should use this CRM. It's not the way it works. That's why I'm a consultant. So I have a list of criteria that I use before I add a new CRM into my tool belt. The four criteria, which is very important for people to know too as well when they're looking for a CRM. If somebody tells me, hey, this is a really good CRM, you should look into it. The first thing I do is I look at their pricing structure. If it doesn't align with me, I'm out. I don't even refer it. Basically, this is one of the most important things. I don't align myself with CRMs that do stair-step pricing models. So, example of a stair-step pricing model is when you grow your contact list beyond a certain amount, some CRM companies will charge you more money. Or if you grow and you add staff members into your CRM, they'll charge you per user per month. So, for example, some CRM companies are very sneaky. They'll say something like $50 a month. Oh, that's a really good deal. But if you look at the fine print, it'll say $50 a month per user per month. If you had 2 users, that's 100, 3, 150. Just multiply that. See how much more expensive it is. So one of the questions I ask people are, do you plan to grow? If you plan to grow, do not go with a stair step pricing model. You'll regret that. Extremely get higher. And another factor to take in consideration is when you start growing and you need additional features, and you say to the CRM company, hey, I need to do this, and I need to do that. And they'll say, well, it's not in the package that you brought. You have to upgrade to another package. And then again, that's another price increase. So basically, there's a lot of CRMs out there that do stair-step pricing. Basically, they nickel and dime you as you continue to grow. So if a client or a prospect decides that they know that they're going to grow their business, I say avoid stair-step pricing models at all costs. Okay, so that's one criteria that I use. The second criteria that I use before I add a new CRM into my tool belt, I have to talk to the owners and the founders of the company to make sure they align with my values and I know, like, and trust them. Then I need to get access to test out the software to make sure it's something I would actually use and recommend. Then I need to make sure that the customer service is to my liking, meaning you can't just talk to a bot or AI. There's actually needs to be human support because there are a lot of tech companies out there. They have the AI, they have the bot, but how frustrating it is it if you can't talk to a human being after you've exerted your efforts in talking to a bot? Like, I need that human touch and that human connection, that human support, because that's going to add to customer retention when you're able to have that human connection and human support when you have a problem. So that's the criteria that I use before I add a new CRM into my tool belt. And then before I make a recommendation, I always have a free CRM consultation with a client, and I call them and understand their pain points and ask questions like, do you plan to grow? Well, then avoid pricing models. These are the CRMs that I filtered into my approved list that I could recommend to you. And this one, based on your budget, is a good one for you. And here's the thing: some of my clients might not be a good fit for the CRMs in my tool belt, and that's fine because I could refer them out to other CRM specialists in my network that specialize in different CRMs that are probably the stair pricing ones that I don't even want nothing to do with because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to recommend a CRM to a company or to a solopreneur where they're gonna get nickel and dime as they grow. Like, those CRMs in my tool belt don't nickel and dime you.
You mentioned something during that conversation, AI. How much impact does AI have on your CRM? You have the bots, you have AI that can be running in the background that could be triggered by a certain event. Someone responds back. It's a funnel trigger, from a client, whatever the case might be. How much reliance is there on AI to support the CRM process?
Before people, I just had a conversation with a business partner before this call. He's a tech service provider in a different platform, and we were talking about AI. And we both agreed, look, AI is great. I have no problem with it. I use it. But before you even go to AI, work on your other basic fundamentals of your technology first. Because sometimes people want to skip to AI when they don't have the system foundation set up already. So, like with a CRM, like, some people just want to go jump to AI. Well, before you jump to AI, let's get your foundation, your strategy set up for your CRM. And then if you want that cherry on top, which is AI, that's fine. Because of the solutions in my tool belt do have AI add-ons, where you have I think it's called voice AI, which will actually, when you call in, there'll be a AI talking to that person, gathering answers and questions. You could train it according to your business. There's conversation AI, where if somebody goes on your website, the chat bot pops up, asks questions, it captures information. You train it to as well. You train it on your business. Like, that's all great and good. But before you do that, I call it the cherry on top stuff, which is great too as well. Like, get your foundation set up first. So yes, all my solutions have AI capabilities, but I just tell people there's an order of things first. Like, you have to you have to crawl before you walk, before you run. So yeah, let's AI. We both said, like, there's so much hype in AI, so people talk about it like it's the next best thing. Yes, it's a great thing, but before you get into that, let's get your systems and your business foundation set up. Like, you might need a business coach or a business consultant. Then from there, you might need a CRM consultant like me. Then when you get all that set up, then you could go to the bells and whistles, which is AI.
There are a lot of ways to get data into a CRM. There's phones, there's manual input, there's point of sale, there's cash registers, there's online. Tell me about how you make sure the information is actually getting forwarded properly.
Say it again, getting forwarded or saved properly?
Forwarded, yes, saved.
Oh, ported. Oh, I mean, well, it comes in from the human. So they're either going to sign up on a form on your landing page, which is connected to CRM, or they're going to book a meeting with me using my calendar, which is connected to CRM, or I'm going to scan their business card with my phone, because the CRMs have a app associated with it. So when I take a picture of the person's business card, it automatically gets saved into the CRM. So those are all, like, examples of different ways of how they get saved into the CRM. But when somebody books a meeting with me, like, it's up to them to make sure they spell their email right. I can't control that. So, but here's the thing: the CRM has corrections in place. It does email validation. So, like, it won't send an email if the email is wrong. And if the person left their phone number, which I've required them to put in their phone number, I'll call them up and say, "Hey, it's a wrong phone number. I mean, sorry, wrong email. Can you, maybe you misspelled it or whatever?" Or I'll text message them from the CRM as well. Like, whichever. Either way, like, humans aren't perfect, and that's okay. But when I take a picture of your business card, it actually scans all your information and saves it into the CRM. I have a thing where if I go to a virtual event and I meet people, rather than collect cards and then go home and then type it in, like, why do that when I have my phone app connected to my CRM? I take a picture of their card, I give them their card back. It turns into a icebreaker question. We're like, "Well, you don't need my business card?" No, you're saved into my CRM already. So I'll contact you. And I even get to another level where if I like that person, if I talk to them, I'll tag them with a certain word, and in about 30, I think I say in 32 minutes, they'll get an email saying, "Hey, it was great talking to you. If you want to strengthen a relationship, get to know each other better, here's a link to my calendar." And that calendar is connected to the CRM. So people are like, "Wow, that's really cool that you have that." So, like, I try to take efficiency to another level. That's like my skill set. Like, I want to be more efficient with my time, and I want my clients to be more efficient with their time too as well.
You just mentioned the use of the scanning of a printed business card. Do some CRMs, are these like pieces you bring together? Because I know there are different card readers that are out there. One that is embedded inside your phone, and it becomes the card itself. If you run into someone that has not electronified their business card, you can push and pull. You can scan their card. You can do a trigger event where all of a sudden, if you say, okay, carry on this contact, it can echo out an email saying, "Pleasure meeting you. It's awesome. Let's set up a more time to chat." Is this a series of components that come together, or if you're working with the CRM platform, is it everything is going to be all one bundle?
Yeah. Yes, yes, it has all that capability. So, like, for example, the CRMs in my tool belt have an app, and if you download the app to your phone, if you take a picture of the business card, it'll read at minimum the name, the email, and if they have a phone number on there, and then it'll save to the CRM. So that's already included in the subscription fee of the service. It's already part of the service or whatnot. And then also too, the CRM has things like create a virtual business card or whatnot. So you could actually create a virtual business card. It'll generate a QR code for you. And then when people take a picture of it, it saves your name, your email, your whatever information, website, social media handle into the CRM as a virtual card. So things like that. And you could create unlimited QR codes within the CRM as well. So there's multiple things to be just nerdy about, like being efficient.
So tell me about affinity and loyalty programs. How do they factor in this journey?
Affinity and loyalty programs. Can you give me an example? Give an example of like an affinity or loyalty program.
There's a gas company, these up here in Canada, when a company says, "Oh, you know
Mhm.
what? Use this app or use this profile." And every time you buy gas, right? And also on the same one, you can buy a car wash, and it's tied to your phone. A little more complex than the mom and pop shop, right? Because now you're doing other transactions and behind the scenes.
Yeah, the closest thing to like an affinity program that I've created for, I actually have it for myself and I give this solution to my clients. So it's kind of like a gamified affinity program. So I have something called engagement scoring. Engagement scoring basically awards people points based on how they interact with me. So if they reply to an email, they get points. They open an email, they get points. They submit a form, they get points. They unsubscribe, they get negative points. They subscribe, they get positive points. All these activities that they do are kept track of. And over time, I could see those people that have a higher number of points. If they're a networking partner, they have a number of points that are really high. That means they're more likely to be a good referral partner because they're really looking at your material and getting to know you. If they're a prospect, they have a high score, that means they're more likely to convert. This is not necessarily an affinity program, but I could actually create something based on points to give people points and award them accordingly because I'm actually going to the next level. What I'm going to do now is when people reach a certain amount of points, I'm going to give them some kind of reward. So for my networking partners, if they're highly engaging, they're engaging with me. When they reach certain milestones of points, I'm going to say, hey, you reached 400 points. An automated email will trickle off and send them an email saying, "Hey, you reached 400 points. You've been a highly engaging networking partner." Because of that, I'm gonna feature you in my newsletter. Fill out this form to tell me what you want me to say about you, and that form is also connected to the CRM. So this is a way of rewarding people for engaging. So it's kind of like a reward system. So I created that within my networking system to reward people based on being really good networking partners. So this system that I create for people, I actually can install it and migrate it over into their system as well. And people purchase this specific system from me. It's called the Networking Success Pack, using networking to make data driven decisions to determine who is a good networking partner so that you can contribute to their growth and they'll contribute to your growth because you're using a system that is able to use data to make informed decisions and giving people points based on how highly or non highly engaging they are. Because obviously there's going to be some deadbeat networking partners. There's going to be some great networking partners. So now you can make data informed decisions over who to focus your efforts on.
Maybe the core is in the healthy data. I like that language. Ironically, I find people, and systems people don't get along well. And I find that CRM tends either people are forced to use these systems or systems people are forced to network to create the data. How do you bridge these two communities that are quite different?
Well, in my work, I always bridge the gap between the technical people and the people that spoke regular English. So that was like really like my strength. Like I didn't know it at the time, but like whenever like people on my team, like other technical people that are at technical level as me, they needed like something communicated to like management, I would naturally be that person to talk to management in a more English type of way, in a way that's understandable. So I realized that is a really good skill set to have, and I didn't know that at the time. And also too, like I work with clients who aren't technical, and that's fine because that gives me I could actually realize my strength of explaining things to them in a way that's understandable in a non-technical English type of way. And also too with my clients too as well that aren't technical. I always when I work with them, I always create a training video library for them. I use Loom and literally they have a training video library. Every feature that I create for them, I always have a training video where I talk and I screen record and I show them how it works in an English type of way and how to use it from the user interface side. Not all the technical terms or whatnot, but this is valuable documentation for them because if they have new employees that come on board, they could refer to my training documentation or my training library so they're up to speed. I don't have to be around. Like they have all that information where it's translated to them in a way that is understandable to them. And also, too, some of my clients might have a tech person and they want me to create training videos that are related to that technical person and training videos that are related just for the front end for the non-technical people. And I'm able to do that as well because like I said, my goal is to give enough training and get enough value so that you don't need me anymore and you could be self-sufficient on your own. And I'm happy to do that. Like I enjoy like I said this before, I enjoy teaching people how to fish so they can fish for themselves. And sometimes there's new fishing strategies that they need to implement and they hire me maybe like 6 months later. And that's fine. That's fine too. Either way, I'm going to teach you how to use all those different fishing strategies as it comes to a CRM.
When you're building the CRM out, one of the things I've found, and other people have mentioned it, if you know the personality of who you're talking to, I don't mean, are you grumpy, are you old, are you young, not that type of stuff. Some people like a lot of detail. Other people, they just want, the high level view. Is there some sort of assessment tool? And not to be sneaky with anybody, but is there assessment tools to ensure that you're having a better communication? Because some people, I book an appointment with one person, I swear to goodness, I'm getting a reminder 2 days before, the day before, the half day before, the text messages the top of the day, and then another one of like 10 minutes out, and I'm thinking, my gosh, well, this person really wants to make sure I don't miss the meeting, and they must have had a lot of pain. But for me, it's like, well, if I could just take an eraser and make that go away, that'd be nice. So do you craft the system so it goes, hey, listen, this person needs a lot of reminders. They just get absent-minded and it's okay. And other people going, yeah, not so much so.
Yes, all the above. So, whenever I have that initial CRM consultation where I'm engaging with the client, I tell them the best practices and how people do like for example, I'll just give you an example. How people do reminders when somebody books a meeting with you. I tell them, hey, this is the way I do it. Just because it's the way I do it doesn't mean you're going to do it this way. But I'm just letting you know. Like whenever somebody books a meeting with me, they get an immediate email confirmation, and then the next reminder is 15 minutes before, and that's it because this is my mindset. We're all old enough and adult enough to know that we have a meeting. I'm not gonna hold your hand down the street, send you a text message a day before, 7 days before, 2 hours before. That's just too much. And so I don't do it. If you're old enough or you're mature enough, you're gonna make the meeting. If not, hey, that's your problem, not my problem. And then I ask people like, how do you like reminding people? What's your cadence or whatnot? Like your audience better than I do. And then also too, not only do they know the audience better, but they know themselves too as well. And then that's when I craft that how often I do those reminders for them. As an example for calendars. Some people they like doing lots of reminders and I customize it accordingly. The CRM reminders. I call it the cadence. Some people like the immediate reminder, the 7 day reminder, a 24-hour reminder, the 2 hour reminder, the 15-minute reminder, and then they want to switch it up between text messaging and emails. And I'm like, all right, that's fine if you want that. But I always warn them, look, just want to let you know, like, you don't want to inundate them with so much that they get turned off. So just so you know, and we kind of sometimes come up with a balance. Like we kind of like have a negotiation or whatnot. So we just go from there, and that's fine. Like I could only give my 2 cents if they want it that way. I know how to do it, and I'll do it accordingly. That's fine.
I don't know if this is true or whether I'm jaded or whether it's a feature, not a bug, but it seems like there are some CRMs that have so much in the hopper that you have to pick and choose what you're trying to do and ignore what you're not trying to do, or you'll get back to it later. And so that you buy the CRM, you turn on your computer, you don't shave or bathe for 2 months, and you come out the other side where you actually got the tools to use it. Is that something you're finding, or is I'm just only a bunch of Luddites?
When you say so much in the hopper, what do you mean by that? I never heard that expression. You mean like so many features, you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. It can do gamification. It can do communities. It can do calendaring. It can do databases. It can do birthdays. It can do, but nothing that leaves you working in 45 minutes better in your office.
Yeah, that's the easy answer. Like, people usually get overwhelmed by the feature richness of a CRM. And I just tell them, look, let's just focus on the core parts of your business. What are your pain points? Okay, let's just work on improving the process for that specific CRM feature. Forget all the other features. Who cares? Like, you don't care about it. I don't care about it. Like, let's just focus on the things that you want to improve upon your business and learn those tools that are able to address those problem pain points. So it just basically like I work with a lot of clients that have different levels of technical ability, and I know after engaging with them for a couple hours or a couple sessions or whatnot, I could gauge their technical ability, and then I speak to them accordingly, and I speak to them in a certain type of way. And yeah, some people are overwhelmed by so many different features that because they're overwhelmed, they end up being inefficient. And I say, hey, that's fine. Like, what are your top pain points? I ask for those pain points. I'm like, okay, yeah, these are the tools or the few tools that we're going to focus on. Forget all the other tools. We'll focus on this right now. So it's just a matter of like simplifying stuff for the people that aren't the most tech savviness. And that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's pretty straightforward. I just focus on things that are really, really important to them based on me getting to know their business and their challenges.
So if someone is using a CRM already and what would be the telltale signs of them going, life is not as good as it can be? And what would be the flags for them to go, where's Brandon's phone number?
Yeah. So, like, are you asking like what are some of the red flags that gets
They,
them
yeah,
frustrated or?
yeah. Well, like they're hitting, whether it's they're losing data, they're not tracking people right. What are the indicators for them? Because they might not even know they've lost the data, right? And all of a sudden, or the database. Think of spreadsheets, right? If you move the column and you don't have a tracking record, it's like having a piece of paper with all your information on one spot, and then half the page goes somewhere else. Right, and it's
Yeah.
gone. You still have, you have a record looking at you going, there's got to be something wrong here, right? What are the tells that you
Oh yeah.
see people would experience that go, man, it ain't right?
Yeah. Yeah. The initial thing is they don't have command of the tool and they don't know how to address their pain points with the features of the tool. And also too, they're probably not organizing their list of contacts appropriately to make their life easier because they're probably just using it as a glorified digital address book and they don't see any ROI on their investment. That's definitely like the big thing. And it has to take that person to realize that they're not they don't have command of the tool and they need to hire somebody and they need to invest. Because I see a lot of people that they want to do it on their own, but then they don't either put in the effort to use all the training or they don't put in the effort to invest in somebody else to train them or to do the work for them. That's already a problem. If they're not ready for that, then I've seen it happen. Like I've worked with clients where I recommended a CRM that's a great fit for them, offered my services. And also too, I told them, if you don't use my services, make sure to use the customer support and the training library so that you can learn how to have command over the CRM based on what your pain points are. But if you don't want to do that, then hire me. I'll give you white glove service and I'll train you and or do it for you or do both. And when a person doesn't do either or, they're set up for failure. They don't have the time to do the training. They don't want to invest in somebody like me to train them to get them set up for success. They're not putting effort, so it's not a good fit. So when I'm talking to somebody, I tell them you must either learn and put in the time, being that's a time investment, or you're gonna have to put in the money investment and pay me so I could train you and or do the work for you. If you don't do either or, then don't invest in a CRM. You're not serious. Yeah.
Actually, I'm
One or
so
the other.
excited. I find out I'm not serious. That kind of
Yeah,
breastfeed.
that's okay. Yeah. I want to save you money too. If you're not really serious, then I want to make sure that you don't pay for something that you're not going to invest in money wise, one or the other.
Metrics do we need to be aware of that you get backed up by real data that tends to say, I got 10 more closes, I've got 15% more growth. What metrics should we be listening to?
Probably the close rate. Like it's definitely the close rate because you're keeping track. Like the CRM keeps track of all your opportunities, all your prospects, and then it'll actually track which ones were won, which one were lost, and then you could see your win rate. The number of opportunities compared to the percentage won or whatnot. Yeah. And then also another to me another valuable metric is like I'm biased because this is a relationship driven metric for me is how many highly engaging people are in your network. Because if you have a lot of highly engaging people in your network, whether they're business partners or prospects or customers, that means you're doing a great job with your CRM strategies in terms of creating strong relationships. So if you have a lot of people that are highly engaging, where the number is like, for me, if the number is over 100, they have over 100 points in their engagement. That means they're highly engaging. They're only going to grow more and more, so that you're doing a really good job using a CRM as a relationship driven tool, because I am relationship driven and all my clients are relationship driven. So that's definitely a metric to to look out for too as well.
So we're on Zoom, which means anyone with a browser anywhere in the world could be hearing this. But geographically and demographically, where do you want to find your client and how do they find you?
In terms of I could work with clients all over the world. Most of my clients are in Canada and in the United States. But I'm totally open if there's other clients that want to work with me that are in different places or whatnot. Because CRMs are it passes all boundaries. It doesn't matter where people are at or whatnot. And so to find me, like my best social media platform that I use is LinkedIn. I connect with a lot of really genuine, high integrity, relationship driven professionals there, and we network with each other. We get to know each other. We foster a relationship, obviously in my CRM. And here's the thing: whenever I meet a really good networking partner, I actually put them into a automated workflow where they get nurtured on. And it's not to the point of like annoyance. You know how some people add you into their newsletter or into their list or whatever, and you get an email every day. It's like you're burning the bridge by sending so many emails. So for me, whenever I meet somebody, like and trust, I want to get to know, like and trust them even better. Obviously, they'll get a follow-up email from me. And then in my workflow, I choose, hey, I'm going to send them a follow-up email in 28 days. Then after that, they'll get an email every 90 days after that. And that's an automated workflow. And that's just a way of keeping that relationship up with them, to stay in contact with them. For example, like in 28 days, it'll send them an automated email saying, hey, how's it going? Just want to know if there's any new things going on with you. If you need any support with anything, let me know. And if you want to strengthen our relationship together to see how we could support each other better, here's a link to my calendar. All that is done within the CRM. And then they get another email 90 days later saying along the lines of the same thing. But the thing is, not everybody's going to answer that email in 28 days. They might answer it the next 90 days, and that's fine because they looked at it, they booked a meeting with you. It's automated, yes, but then when they book a meeting with you, that's when the human interaction comes into play and you strengthen a relationship with that person.
Brandon, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today, opening up and understanding CRMs and the purpose behind them, and how to leverage their space other than, hey, that's nice Rolodex. And in which case, go back to the paper model. You'll bother people less. To my co-host Wayne Pratt, being the co-host, and you, the Knack for Business listeners. So to the audience, if CRMs are something that are befuddling you, how you structure it, you're kind of into the game, but you need to tweak the system, reach out to Brandon. He'll take it from, hey, here's a box, to it's a tool and how you can leverage it to function properly and maintain an authentic relationship. So it's not a matter of all business up front. It's more the connection, and then you're maintaining that relationship with your client base.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVISIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email, wayne@motive8u.ca, that is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter u.ca, or his website, motive8u.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people. Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert. Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host. Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space. Then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner, and Wayne Pratt from Motive8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer. Please note that the Knack for Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.